No one asks to be born. And that single fact already dismantles the most cherished lie humanity repeats to itself: that life is a gift. A gift to whom? You open your eyes and you're already inside a story you didn't choose. Inside a body that will age, ache, weaken, and eventually fail. Inside a world that demands performance, adaptation, resilience, optimism, productivity. And when you can't keep up, you're labeled weak, as if fragility were a moral failure instead of a biological certainty. Gautama Buddha saw this clearly. To exist is to be exposed. Exposed to loss, exposed to decay, exposed to frustration, exposed to change, exposed to what cannot be negotiated. Arthur Schopenhauer saw the same reality through colder eyes. Life is not a stage designed for meaning. It is a mechanism of necessity, a blind impulse pushing everything to continue, even when continuation improves nothing. That is the first deep connection between them. Neither begins with the question, how can I be happy? Both begin with something far more uncomfortable and honest. Why does life hurt so much? Because life begins as debt. You are born owing. Owing energy, owing effort, owing adaptation, owing learning, owing endurance. You do not enter existence with credit. You enter with a bill. And that bill does not come only from society. It comes from within, from the engine itself. The cry of a newborn is not poetry. It is biology announcing a truth. The organism wants, it lacks, it reaches, it seeks relief, warmth, food, contact, safety. This wanting becomes the mold of an entire life. We romanticize childhood as innocence, but what exists there is only a temporary ignorance of the abyss. As awareness grows, so does perception. And the perception is brutal. Life is a corridor where everything passes, but pain stays. Those who see this too early are called strange. Those who see it too late are called regretful. Most never see it at all. They run, consume, repeat, distract. That is why birth feels like a fall. You wake up already far from any guarantee. And like someone falling, you grab whatever you can to stop the descent. Love, status, faith, money, beauty, recognition, pleasure, the future. The problem is simple. Everything you grab is also falling. And that is where the wheel begins to turn. The wheel of desire. Life does not only give you problems, it gives you a mind that manufactures them. Desire is that factory. It does not matter what you achieve. Your body and your mind will generate another lack, another target, another when I get this, another if I just reach that, another just a little more. Buddha called this attachment. Schopenhauer called it will. Different language, same beast. Desire is an unfair contract. If you don't get what you want, you suffer. If you get it, you fear losing it. If you keep it, you get used to it and feel bored. If you repeat it, it loses flavor. If you lose it, you grieve. If you replace it, you call it a new beginning. But it's the same cycle with a new costume. That is why so many people live in quiet anxiety. Even when things are fine, something inside is scanning for the next void, as if peace were suspicious, as if calm were a mistake. Society feeds this hunger like a modern religion. It doesn't train you to be free. It trains you to desire, to look at yourself and see defect, to look at others and see comparison, to look at the world and see a storefront. Schopenhauer was brutally clear. Desire is the essence of suffering because it is blind, endless, and indifferent to your well-being. It doesn't want you happy. It wants to keep wanting. The more you feed it, the more it demands. Buddha said the same thing with another emphasis. You suffer because you cling. You cling to people, phases, identities, futures, memories. You cling because you believe something unstable can be fixed. But what is unstable? Everything. Bodies change, moods change, desires change, people change, health changes, luck changes, time changes. And still, you behave as if something could be frozen. Birth throws you into existence. Existence ignites desire. Desire convinces you that control is possible, and that illusion gives birth to the ego. You say, I. It feels solid, but look closer. You are not the same as yesterday. Your thoughts shift, your emotions shift, your values shift. Even what you call your personality is often just a collection of repeated defenses and wounds that hardened into habit. Buddha taught that there is no fixed self, only processes, sensations, thoughts, memories, reactions, conditioned events flowing into one another. The sense of I is a mental glue holding together something that is never still. Schopenhauer saw the individual as a temporary expression of a universal force, like a wave believing it is separate from the ocean. The wave feels unique, but it is only a passing shape of the same water. The ego's job is to fake permanence, to maintain a narrative, to avoid the most humiliating truth of all. You are not the center of anything. Watch the ego quietly at work. It wants to be seen, to be remembered, to be admired, to be right, to matter, to be special. When it fails, it suffers. When it succeeds, it clings and fears loss. Back to desire, back to the wheel. That is why people argue as if survival were at stake, why they perform as if invisibility were death, why the world is full of people asking for love while offering theater. The ego is an attempt to protect yourself from impermanence. The cost is constant war with reality. And war with reality is a battle you lose every day. Now imagine millions of egos, all insecure, all hungry, all seeking validation, forced to coexist. That leads to the next layer. The world is not only difficult, it is designed to keep you unsatisfied. Calm people are harder to control. Content people consume less. Lucid people don't follow blindly. So the system needs you restless, comparing, rushing, reacting. Nature is already harsh. It offers no justice, no meaning, no balance. It simply happens. Society takes that raw cruelty, adds rules, advertising, screens, deadlines, and calls it normal life. Normal life is often slow exhaustion. You get used to suffering as background noise. Violence becomes statistics. Inequality becomes tradition. Anxiety becomes personality. Depression becomes weakness. The absurd continues, just without scandal. Schopenhauer did not beautify this. He said plainly, pain is more real than pleasure. Pleasure is brief, conditional, fragile. Pain is immediate, deep, and inevitable. Buddha said something equally dark but more precise. Life, as lived by an ignorant mind, is suffering. Not as punishment, but as consequence. Attachment, aversion, and illusion are the causes. Here the connection deepens. Desire chains you. Ego blinds you. Society exploits both. It sells you goals so you don't face emptiness. It promises futures so you tolerate the present. Eventually, the noise fails. You stop. You notice that even after following the script, something feels hollow. That is when many run toward spirituality that looks like light, but is only makeup. Which brings us to something uncomfortable. Most people want spirituality like fast medicine, something that calms without transforming, comfort without truth, promises without cost. Serious spirituality is not comforting, it is sober. Buddha never promised a perfect world. He didn't promise rewards, justice, or cosmic compensation. He pointed at the mind and said, "Look at what you are doing to yourself." Schopenhauer, though not a spiritual teacher in the popular sense, arrived at something almost mystical. When you see desire as the root of suffering, you realize peace doesn't come from having more, but from wanting less. Real spirituality begins when you stop negotiating with the universe, when you stop assuming there is a hidden reason behind every wound. Sometimes pain is just pain. Facing that without escape changes you. There is a lucid sadness that feels almost sacred. Not despair, understanding, seeing the world without filters and sensing that silence is more honest than explanation. This mysticism doesn't involve visions, it involves impermanence, watching everything arise and pass. Thought dies, emotion dies, relationships die, desires die. You are a current of births and deaths. From here, two paths open. You harden into cynicism, or something rare opens, compassion. Not because you're good, but because you understand. When people see that life has no guarantees, some become predators. If nothing matters, I'll take what I can. That is nihilism without digestion. There is another option, lucid nihilism. If there is no absolute meaning, what remains is simple. Reduce suffering where possible. Buddha taught compassion because separation is illusory. Schopenhauer grounded morality in compassion because suffering is universal. You don't need heaven to know humiliation worsens the world. You don't need karma to know using people creates pain. You don't need destiny to know kindness alters a day. True compassion is not positivity, it's honesty. Seeing the human and admitting that everyone is surviving something unseen. This slows the war, inside and outside. The ego weakens, the noise fades, and that brings you closer to what both pointed toward, each in their own way. Silence. There is a rare moment when you stop arguing with life, stop demanding meaning, stop negotiating with reality. The world doesn't change, but the friction inside lessens. That is silence, not absence of sound, absence of resistance. Buddha taught observation, sitting, watching thoughts arise and pass, not clinging, not pushing. This is simple and revolutionary. You realize you are not obligated to follow every mental command. Schopenhauer found silence through contemplation, art, nature. Moments where you see without wanting to own. For brief instants, desire pauses. Hunger sleeps. Silence is a truce. It terrifies people who only know how to exist in noise. When everything stops, emptiness appears. And emptiness feels like threat. But emptiness is not the enemy. It is what remains when you stop lying. This silence is not the end. It is the end of illusions. And from there, you can live with clarity. Buddha would begin bluntly. You suffer, and that is not your failure. It is the human condition when the mind clings. He offers diagnosis, not blame. Suffering exists. It has causes. It can cease. There is a path. Schopenhauer would add something colder but freeing. Do not expect life to be fair or designed for your satisfaction. The more you demand, the more you suffer. Understanding the structure prevents illusion. Their advice converges. Distrust your own wanting. Accept impermanence as law. Stop feeding the ego. Reduce desire instead of increasing conquest. Train attention. Let compassion follow understanding. Be cautious with empty hope. Do not turn pain into identity. Create silence as hygiene. Live aware, not numb. They do not promise happiness. They offer dignity. Life is not a story meant to satisfy you. It is an indifferent flow where desire builds chains and ego builds cages. Freedom is not having more. Freedom is needing less. Less grasping, less reacting, less harming. Maybe the most honest way to exist is this: to walk through chaos with quiet clarity, without pretending everything is fine, without making suffering a spectacle, without turning the world into an enemy, and without becoming your own. The world will not explain itself, but you can learn to breathe without demanding explanations. That, strangely enough, is a kind of peace. Not joyful, not euphoric, a sad peace, a real one. If this video stayed with you, if it named something you felt but never fully articulated, then you're already part of this space. Just watching, reflecting, and sharing is real support, and it matters more than you think. If you want to go a step further, becoming a channel member helps keep this work alive and gives you access to deeper, more intimate content created for those who choose to stay closer. And if you feel moved in this moment, super thanks is a quiet way of saying, "This meant something to me." No pressure, no debt, just presence, reciprocity, and the understanding that none of this is built alone.